Coach Pope, if you'd like to lead us off about how practice and camp's been going so far.
Definitely. Practice in camp has been going really well. I think we got better each day that we were out there. You have some guys that's just ready to work. And also it's good, especially on the defensive side of the ball, just seeing guys just locked in, focused, but also retaining a lot of things from last year and just being able to start where we left off at. But I think that was really big. A lot of guys starting where we left off at, a lot of young guys who have a lot of ability and some great potential. So we're just looking forward to getting it started. I think it was a hard-working group, got better each day, and I think those guys will continue to get ready to play next week.
Evan and then Terry.
Hey, Kyle, two questions for me. One thing we've seen is there's a lot of experience up front with these guys, obviously with Morris Joseph and Wardell Ducksworth, but just how much fun is it kind of coaching this group for the second year, kind of having that experience already built in?
It's really good, man. Like you said, it's a lot of experience. And my biggest thing this year going into the D-line play was just having depth. It's a lot of guys who had experience in some form last year. So it's really good. A lot of guys who believe in each other and also a lot of guys who understand how I want things done. And that's the best thing. After that first year, guys feeling you feeling them. And now they understand how I want things done and to the standard. And like I say, everything we do is going to be fast and violent, and those guys believe in it, and that's what we're getting done.
And then second for me, obviously, John Tate is back. What have you seen from him, and kind of how excited are you to kind of have him back in the mix after he was out for last season?
Oh, man, out of him, I'm seeing a darn leader, man. I'm excited to have him back. He's busting his tail. He's doing everything he wants to do. He attacks it the way you want to attack. So John Tate is definitely going to be he's going to be a sleeping giant for us this year. He's going to be a guy who's going to be able to be depended on, counted on, and he's going to be able to handle his business for him. So having with Wardell, Morris Joseph, Maurice White, and a lot of other guys, I feel really good about it.
Hey, how you doing, Coach?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, man, I know you lost a lot of weight, man, but have you put weight on your defensive guys? And second question is, who's wasn't on the roster in December that you expect to contribute handily this fall?
Definitely, man. One thing about it, I always joke, when I first got here, I started two guys that was around 5'11". No more 5'11s right now. Those are some darn good ball players, but we look how we're supposed to look now. But definitely. And right now, man, just going into it, just guys that's on the roster now that wasn't on the roster in December. John Tate didn't play last year, so he's definitely a guy. But, man, I think, honestly, this is the first time I've been somewhere. I think the 4 freshmen that we signed last year are going to be darn good players before it's all said and done. These guys have really opened my eyes throughout camp, and these guys are darn good players. The Zach Brockingtons, the William Whitlows, the Javon Nelsons, and the James Stewarts. Man, those guys every day give me some type of eye-opening moment to make me realize that we got some good depth, and just other guys like Cam Jackson, guys who didn't play last year, man. I think it should be a big year. We just got to stay focused, stay grounded, but it should be good for us this year.
Frank, go ahead.
Hey, with last year being your first year, what did you learn about these guys? What did you see about them in your mentality when you first got here last year?
I think the best thing I took away from it, man, feisty. That's the biggest thing, man. I've been around a lot of different caliber players on a lot of levels, man. But one thing I found out about these guys last year, they're feisty. There's some feisty guys. They're going to fight for you. And another thing, man, once they believe in you, they trust you, they love you and know how you're here for them, man, they'll go through a wall for you, man. And that's what I loved about them the most. It didn't matter how big we were. It didn't matter how small we were. Those guys knew every day we was going to fight together, and they knew we were one. So, man, those guys were feisty, and they really believed last year.
Now, how easier does that make your job knowing that when you came in, you had a feisty group? How does that help you coaching them up knowing that they had that grit to them?
It helped a lot, man, because one thing you can't teach is effort and mentality. You know what I'm saying? And my biggest thing, I want those guys to, I say fast and violent for a reason. I want those guys to go about things the way I go about them. And one thing about it, when knowing that they were feisty and ready to fight and brought so much effort, it was easy. Now you just got to focus on the X and O's. And once we got that done, it was a wrap. So it's that part of the game that you can't teach, that is either in you, they had it in them. So that just made it a lot easier.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
Evan, go ahead.
All right. I've seen you mention fast and violent. That's been one of your mantras that you got here. Just kind of where does that mentality just come from you, just as a coach and just as a teacher, and that being your philosophy?
Oh man, it's just something I came up with years ago and something I just kept tight to me. It's just because everything we want to do it a certain way. And we want to do it the same way each and every day. And we have a standard that we hold ourselves to. So we want to play fast and we want to play violent. And that's just where it came from with me. And that's something that we hold ourselves to each and every day, everything we do. Whether it's playing a block, whether it's eating our food, everything is a motto, it's a standard that we live by, man.
But I'm just curious, like, is that just kind of like, for you, is that kind of like what you love to see out of a defensive line is you guys want them to be?
Definitely. That's definitely what I love to see, man. That's definitely what I love to see. It goes back to with those guys being so gritty when I got here and those guys fighting when I got here, they already had that instilled in them. They had the violence of play. They played at a fast level with effort, so it came into a situation where it fit those guys just perfectly of what I like to preach.
Gotcha. And then last thing for me, Mojo, obviously you expect a lot of things from him. He didn't play this spring, we know, but just how have you just kind of challenged him to kind of build off of last year's success where he ended the year so strong?
Man, I'm on his tail. And he'll tell you, he was a guy during camp to where I know he had a good year last year, had an amazing year up front, but he has to realize that, man, we need that year times 2 this year. And that's what I'm pushing, and that's what I expect. I expect nothing less, but every day he has to come to compete with the person that he was last year. And realize I'm not setting the bar isn't set too high for him. I just want him to go out and do what he did and continue to be himself, because that's what happened last year. You go be yourself, everything can play itself out. But he's a guy that I'm on each and every day. That's not just being a good football player, but being a leader for these younger guys, and as well some of the older guys. So he's a guy that I'm pushing every day because he knows the sky is the limit for him. He knows what's in front of him in this season, but we're just going to let it come in a game at a time, a practice at a time, and we know what we're working for.
All right, wrap us up, Terry.
Hey, Coach, is it pretty much the same system from last year? And 2, how well have the guys been executing in this system? I know you say you got some big horses, but how satisfied are you with the execution day in and day out and the consistency so far?
Man, I'm very satisfied with the execution day in and day out. And that comes back to guys who understand the concept, how we want to play up front. And that allows us to do some different things up front. But the execution is just, I think it's great. You got a lot of older guys who are able to understand it, like I said, and you got some guys who are going to attack it each day. So we're able to do different things and do more things up front, because when you get a personnel you can do more with, we want to be able to throw more things at them to make us be a little bit more successful and put those guys in position to make plays up front, man. So the execution day in and day out has been pretty darn good.
All right, thank you, Coach Pope.